Have you ever noticed how some men crumble under pressure while others seem to turn adversity into fuel for their fire? It's not about intelligence or luck. It's about a set of verbal habits, specific phrases that act as a window into a man's soul. If these words leave your mouth, you're broadcasting weakness to the world and poisoning your own potential. Today, we're identifying these 7 linguistic traps and forging new, stronger responses. If you're prepared to evolve beyond the ordinary and embrace a mindset of unshakable power, hit that subscribe button now. Your journey starts here. The first verbal poison is the refusal to claim your own life. The uninitiated man, when confronted with difficulty, instinctively points outward. He declares, "I wasn't responsible for that. The market crashed. His co-worker is incompetent. His upbringing was flawed." He positions himself as the perpetual victim. By assigning blame externally, he unknowingly surrenders his autonomy to those very forces. He hands the keys to his inner peace over to the chaos of the world. The student of wisdom, however, understands that fault-finding is a complete dead end. The philosopher Epictetus, born into bondage, taught a fundamental truth. We possess command over our judgments and actions, but not over external events. The fool battles the windmill, trying to change the unchangeable. The sage focuses inward, mastering his own reactions. Imagine 2 generals on a hill overlooking a lost battle. The first screams at the enemy, curses his own troops, and demands the universe reverse its course. He abandons his post to rage at fate. The second surveys the same catastrophe in silence. He accepts the reality of the loss. He immediately begins calculating how to save his remaining men and live to fight another day. When you utter, "It wasn't my fault," you become the first general, paralyzed by what you cannot control. A man of character knows that while an event may originate outside you, your response to it is entirely your domain. Blaming keeps you a child. Seizing responsibility, even for situations you didn't create, is the cornerstone of true adulthood. Your hands can't build a future while they're busy pointing fingers at the past. Next is perhaps the most common surrender of personal power. "She pushed me over the edge." This phrase is a lie we tell ourselves to excuse our own lack of discipline. It suggests your emotional thermostat is controlled by everyone you meet. The unwise man believes that a rude comment, a line cutter, or a disrespectful gesture forces his anger. He becomes a leaf in the wind, tossed by every external breeze. When the world treats him well, he's elated. When it treats him poorly, he's destroyed. He has built no internal fortress. Seneca, the great Stoic thinker, called anger a brief period of insanity. He saw it not as a demonstration of power, but as a collapse of logic and self-control. To claim someone else made you angry is to admit you cannot guard the gates of your own mind. Consider a warrior walking through a village. A child accidentally bumps into him, spilling water on his tunic. He barely notices. Moments later, a rival warrior intentionally shoves him. He is instantly ready for combat. The physical contact was the same. The difference was his interpretation of the event. The first was an accident, the second a challenge. This proves the emotion was generated from within, based on judgment. The man without wisdom is a puppet. The Stoic pauses, analyzes his impressions, and refuses to let another's actions dictate his state of being. If you can be provoked easily, you can be controlled easily. Do not hand anyone that remote control. The third phrase of the unawakened man is a constant deferral of life. He repeats, "I'll be content when I get the car, I get the girl, I get the corner office." He treats his current existence as nothing more than a waiting room, a dreary hallway he must endure to reach a promised paradise in the future. This is the very definition of anxiety and dissatisfaction. By chaining his happiness to events that exist only in his imagination, he guarantees his present moment is filled with lack. Marcus Aurelius, a man who possessed the world, constantly reminded himself of a simple, powerful truth: focus on the now. He wrote that the present is all we truly own. The past is gone, the future uncertain. There's a well-known story of a banker who saw a man fishing from a small boat, laughing with his son. The banker asked, "Why aren't you working harder? You could buy a bigger boat, hire crew, and build a fishing empire." The fisherman asked, "What would that bring me?" The banker replied, "You could retire rich and spend your days relaxing by the water with your family." The fisherman simply smiled. "What do you think I'm doing right now? The fool runs on a treadmill, chasing a carrot he will never catch. He postpones joy until he's too exhausted to feel it." Stoic philosophy isn't opposed to ambition, it's opposed to being a slave to the outcome. If you can't find a sliver of peace in who you are today, you won't find it in a bigger house tomorrow. You'll just be a wealthy man with an empty soul. Stop treating your life like a rehearsal. The fourth verbal trap reveals a man at war with reality. When hardship strikes, illness, loss, failure, he cries out, "Why is this happening to me?" He feels the universe has personally betrayed him. He sees obstacles as injustices. He fights against what is, and this resistance turns inevitable pain into optional suffering. The Stoic practices a more fati, a love of one's fate, not just acceptance but a wholehearted embrace of everything that occurs. He sees the obstacle as the way forward. Imagine two martial artists training. One is always paired with weaker opponents. He wins easily and never improves. He remains brittle. The other is paired with the master who throws him, twists him, and pushes him past his limits. The foolish student screams, "Why is the instructor so cruel?" The wise student understands the master is forging him into a weapon. Life is that master. When you ask, "Why me?" you are rejecting your own evolution. You are asking for a life of comfort, which is a life of stagnation. A pile of dry wood is extinguished by a gust of wind. A roaring fire is fueled by it. Be the fire. Stop questioning the storm and start learning how to sail in it. The fifth sign of a stagnant mind is the closed-door policy. I'm already aware of that. This sentence is the death rattle of curiosity. The unwise man protects his fragile ego by posing as an expert. He listens not to understand, but to find a point of disagreement. He sees new information as a threat, not a gift. He becomes rigid, and like a dry branch, he snaps under pressure. Epictetus was known to dismiss students who arrived with arrogant attitudes. He taught that you cannot pour wisdom into a vessel that is already full. There's a classic tale of a professor who visited a Zen master. The master served tea. He poured his guest's cup full and then kept pouring. The tea overflowed onto the table. The professor shouted, "Stop! It's full!" The master said, "You are like this cup, so full of your own ideas. How can I show you anything until you first empty your cup?" The fool walks through life with his cup full, protecting his ignorance. The man on the path to wisdom cultivates a beginner's mind. He asks questions. He risks looking foolish today to become knowledgeable tomorrow. He knows the greatest wisdom is admitting how much you have yet to learn. The sixth phrase is the anthem of the overwhelmed and undisciplined, "I just don't have the time." The uninitiated man wears his exhaustion like a medal. He confuses frantic movement with meaningful progress. He races in circles and wonders why he never arrives. But "I don't have time" is almost always a lie. What he's really saying is, "This isn't a priority for me." He has time for hours of television, but no time for 20 minutes of reading. He has time for endless social media, but no time for thoughtful silence. Seneca observed that people guard their money fiercely, yet let their time, the one thing they can never get back, be stolen from them by distractions and trivialities. Imagine you had a bank account that credited you with 86,400 seconds every single morning, and at midnight whatever you hadn't used wisely was gone forever. You would spend them with intention, wouldn't you? That is your life. The fool lets his seconds drain away like sand through his fingers. The Stoic treats time as his most valuable asset. He aggressively cuts away the non-essential. When a man says he has no time for self-improvement, he is saying he's too busy driving to stop for fuel. He will eventually break down by the side of the road. Do not be that man. Finally, the seventh and most suffocating cage, living for the crowd. The unawakened man constantly asks himself, what will they think? He buys things he can't afford to impress people he doesn't even like. He chokes down his true opinions and hides his authentic self. Desperate for the validation of the masses, he is a slave to the whispers of others. Marcus Aurelius found this behavior perplexing. He noted that while a man loves himself more than anyone else, he often values the opinion of a stranger more than his own. Think of an athlete on the field. If he spends the whole game checking the scoreboard and worrying about the fans, he will miss the ball and fumble the play. To perform well, he must be locked into the game itself, not the applause. The fool is that athlete constantly looking at the crowd, changing his game to suit their mood. The man of character stands firm. He values his own integrity over his reputation. He understands that fame is just noise, and reputation is merely what people think you are. Character is who you truly are. If you live for the approval of others, you give them the power to destroy you with a single criticism or dismiss you with a moment of indifference. Break those chains. Let them talk. You have a life to build. These 7 phrases, denying responsibility, blaming emotions on others, postponing life, fighting reality, rejecting new knowledge, mismanaging time, and chasing approval, are the bars of a prison you've built for yourself, but the door was never locked. You can walk out right now. Stoicism isn't about becoming a man without feeling. It's about becoming a man without stupidity. It's about seeing life clearly and responding with intention. Catch yourself the next time one of these phrases forms in your mind. Crush it. Replace it with a better thought, a stronger action. If this message resonated with you, don't let the lesson end here. Hit the like button to help others on MindShift Philosophy find this path, and subscribe if you're ready to master your inner world while the outer world tries to shake you. The choice, as always, is yours.